What is just a placebo effect but most people don't realize? How long it takes a Coinstar to process and count coins and return a receipt. It finishes quickly. So quickly that folks are skeptical of the accuracy. So a fake delay, with fake counting noises, was built in giving folks more confidence in the results. That's amusing and I absolutely believe it. A lot of scans do this as well. Not virus scans, those just take a damn long time, but sites that show you the best deals are often done in 100 milliseconds. They're not really doing anything that intensive, just make a few requests to AutoTrader or whoever, which probably only returns 15 cars, and sort by lowest price. But people wouldn't believe it was the best price if it came back instantly, they wouldn't think it looked hard enough. So they make them wait a little. Definitely, I've used a background check website that goes through a big elaborate series of scanning records progress bar animations. They even divide it into segments like checking criminal records, checking property records and so on. But here's the thing, they only do all this rigmarole if you search for someone's name on the main site, before you have made an account. After you make an account, the exact same kind of searches are done instantly. Reticulating splines. Beats headphones have weights inside them to make them heavier and give the illusion of quality and sturdiness. So, if the headphones are too heavy, I should disassemble them and remove the weights. Arguably yes, if they would be more comfortable lighter, you could. I'm not sure if it still does this, but at one time Google Docs intercepted the Ctrl+S shortcut and briefly changes the cursor to the thinking cursor, hourglass, beach ball, whatever your computer does. You don't need to save your Google Docs. They save every tiny change on the server. But people are used to doing it. I install commercial audio-video systems. On bigger, more involved jobs like stadiums and arenas, we have consultants who don't work for my company but are a big link in the chain, as far as designing and eking the finished system. I don't know how many times I've been up in a 80 boom lift and they want the azimuth or down angle of a speaker adjusted by some ridiculously small amount. So you get back, up there, bang a couple wrenches on the speaker, and don't actually move shit. How's that? Oh yeah. That sounds better. Works every goddamn time. When I was in my film major in college, our audio professor told us to have some spare cables on hand to wire up a dummy on the control board. Just a big obvious cord coming out of the controls and wired into nothing, stuffed behind an Apple box or something. If it sounds perfectly fine to you, he said, just twist or slide something on the dummy channel ever so slightly and play it again. There's a famous story like that about the Beach Boys. The Wilson brothers' father was their manager and a complete control freak. During recording session he always wanted to make changes, so they gave him a mixing board of his own. He never knew it wasn't actually connected to anything. Like a fake will in the passenger seat for babies. When my cat wants fresh food, but he still has some in his bowl, I pretend to put more in there. He usually falls for it. Does the bowl have high sides? Eating out of bowls instead of flat plates can sometimes cause issues with their whiskers touching the side and being overstimulated, since they're quite sensitive. Indeed it does. Try a flat plate, he might complain less. What you're interpreting as please food slave give me more food might actually be please food slave fix that thing where my whiskers feel weird when I try to eat this delicious chicken. Huh. That makes sense. My cat always pulls out the food from the bowl and instead eating it on the floor. My cat does that and his food is on a flat plate. Go figure. My dog does this, I assume it's to season it in dirt, yum. The original Febreze was unscented, but nobody believed it worked so they added scent to it. The exaggerated sounds of some vacuum cleaners, microwaves and cars to make them sound powerful. The loading screens on some apps that make it seem like they are doing something complex. I once spoke to a guy involved in developing the first ATM cash machines. Early trials showed that users thought that the dispensing of cash happened too fast and didn't trust that it had correctly debited their account for the right amount. So they inserted a wait cycle to make it appear that the machine was counting the cash. That wait cycle is still there today in most machines. Edit, woke up to a billion replies telling me that the acronym ATM contains the word machine. I know this, but I included both ATM and cash machine for those parts of the world where we don't really use the term ATM. I still double check after a deposit. So I guess people like me are at fault. I once received nothing while being deducted 10. Still mad. Was a student's last money on 25th of month. You can call the company and they can reverse the transaction once they've done their daily count to ensure you didn't actually get the money. At least a good company will do that. Lots of people call in and say they didn't get money when they did in fact get their money. Sometimes security cameras will even see them take their cash and they'll still claim they didn't get it. It's pretty commonplace. I once tried to deposit my paycheck at Wells Fargo ATM and it ended up taking the check of $480 and depositing 1 cent. I went inside the building and they told me they weren't responsible for their own ATM. Reason number 3,920,374 for why to not use Wells Fargo. My ex inherited some cash from a deceased aunt. It was put in trust for her as a child in an account at Wells Fargo, and she was supposed to gain control once she graduated college. So after she graduates, she takes her driver's license, degree and transcripts down to the local Wells Fargo branch and applies to receive control of the account. They tell her they will get back to her in a few days. 2 weeks later, they send a letter explaining that her signature doesn't match the one on record, a sample from when she was 6 years old, and they won't be releasing the account to her. We head back to the bank. She argues with the manager, who accuses her of attempting to defraud them. She ended up having to get a lawyer to threaten to sue. And this was not over a lot of money either. Lamau, I'd be lucky to match the signature I made this morning. Airport security. Homeland Security's own inspectors were able to get illegal items through TSA checkpoints 70% of the time. Source, Forbes.com. But they'll be damned if you think you're gonna get away with taking that water bottle or travel-sized bottle of lube on the plane, sir. I specifically bought TSA travel-sized bottles for my lube, but was still concerned that someone was going to ask me what it was for. Best answer I could think of was dry skin. Which, in a way, is honest. It's for ducking is a perfectly acceptable answer. Butt ducking. What do you use it for? A little light jacking now and again. Does this need to go in the carry-on, sir? Absolutely. That minty fresh, zesty clean feeling you get from toothpaste. It started as a marketing strategy and caught on, and now almost all toothpaste is mint because we associate the minty freshness with cleanliness. Edit, aw shucks, Silver. Thanks guys, it's my first. I had no idea so many people hated mint. Actually it was to help mask the taste of the stannous fluoride. Good move. Renly fluoride was the much sexier of the 3 fluoride brothers. How dare you, Robert Bobby fluoride is the real beauty. Gods, I was foamy then. Plaque on an open jaw. It's a neat little trick you do, you move your lips, and your father's toothpaste comes out. When cake mixes first came out you only had to add water to them, but too many housewives felt like that was cheating and wouldn't buy cake mixes. So the cake mix companies added another step. The eggs. It worked. Apparently the cracking and adding of the eggs to the batter was enough to make it feel more homemade and cake mixes became extremely popular. Now I'm mad. I have probably 3 cake mixes in my pantry right now that I keep using up all my eggs before getting to make. If it wasn't for those housewives I would have had cake by now. Unbelievable. You can actually make them without the eggs. Some say it actually tastes better. Chances are, the cake mix you have already has ingredients that act the same way the egg would eat, since so many people replied to this. Go watch Food Theory. It's a new channel by the creator of Game Theory, it just covered cake mixes in a video. This is also the reason you may see so much stuff popping up about instant cake mixes. The ingredient you're looking for is lecithin, usually listed as soy lecithin in dry goods, and it occurs naturally in eggs. Thanks Alton Brown. Edit, thanks for the cake day love. Also funny that my cake day is also my wife's birthday where I made her a cake. As a former lifeguard, I can assure you that whatever cleanup you see lifeguards doing after someone vomits in the pool is almost certainly just show. There isn't really anything you can do, you just let the filter chlorine take care of it and pretend to clean to please the suburban moms. I remember some kid shit in the pool and they closed it down for the remainder of the day. Is it different for shit? Or same story? Just come back tomorrow and it'll be clean and do nothing. Aquatics facility operator here. For vomit, Mostly it's just water that comes up because someone decided to drink the pool instead of play in it. We scoop out any chunks and clear the pool for 20 minutes to let the chlorine and other chemicals that are automatically fed into the pool do their job to kill any bacteria. For poop, we have to shock the water with more chlorine to be sure all toxins in the fecal matter is killed. Once we put the shock in the pool, the water has a super high chlorine level. After mere minutes everything is dead, but we have to keep the pool closed for 4 to 12 hours, depends on how much shock we had to use, more for runny shits and less for solids, because that much chlorine will irritate skin.